The wife and I yesterday ventured out to our local AMC theater, went to the 115 show, a matinee. The theater was, I'll just say, it was just over half full. And honestly, that might be the cleanest review of this movie I can give you. Not empty, not packed, not an event, just commercially functional. A room full of people politely watching Disney take a Disney Plus episode, or 3, stretch it across the theatrical runtime, slap Star Wars on the poster, and hope Grogu could carry the rest of the balance sheet in his tiny little hands. And the sad part? For the first 5 minutes, it almost worked. For about 5 minutes, I thought, oh no, did they remember how to make the Mandalorian cool again? And then the rest of the movie happened. Because the Mandalorian Grogu is not just bad, it's bad in a very specific way. It's bad by incentive. This was not a movie that happened to sell toys. This was a toy commercial that happened to charge movie ticket prices. And yes, there are going to be spoilers. I paid to see this thing. So emotionally, now you have to suffer with me. Welcome back to The Critical Nerd, where we keep our expectations low, our receipts high, and occasionally pay full theatrical price to watch Disney find new and exciting ways to make Star Wars feel like mandatory homework. Today I'm talking about The Mandalorian Grogu, the first theatrical Star Wars movie in nearly 7 years. Yeah, that's right, 7 years. After The Rise of Skywalker, Lucasfilm went into hiding. Disney Plus became the witness protection program for Star Wars, and now they finally come back to theaters with the safest possible bet. Not a new Jedi story, not a bold new era, not a cinematic event. The Helmet Man and the billion-dollar plush goblin. And once you understand the business model, the movie makes a lot more sense. Not better, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here, but more sense. Star Wars is one of the top 5 toy franchises on the planet. Over $1 billion in retail sales a year. Grogu alone moved 13 million toys in his first 2 years of existence. And a talent rep put it to Deadline about as plainly as anyone in this town says it out loud. Sometimes these movies make more in merchandise than they make at the box office. So when I say this feels like a 2-hour and 20-minute Grogu ad, I'm not just being mean, I'm reading the receipt. A $165 million budget that isn't the cost of the art, it's the marketing spend for the product line. Because this movie doesn't feel like Lucasfilm asked the question, story deserves the big screen. It feels like they asked, what characters can still move product? And the answer was obvious. The little green cash register with ears. The frustrating part is the first 5 minutes of this movie are good. Not fine, not good for Disney Star Wars. Actually kind of good. Mando feels dangerous again, quiet, efficient, shadowy. For a moment, it feels like the show remembered what made season 1 work. Because Mando was never interesting because Grogu was cute. He was interesting because he was dangerous, a dangerous man with a code, moving through the ugly corners of the galaxy where Star Wars still had texture. And then Grogu enters the chat, and the whole thing starts sliding downhill like a Jawa on a greased Roomba. The first 5 minutes are the movie they advertised. The next 2 hours and plus are the movie they actually made. And that movie is a Disney Plus side quest with IMAX delusions. Stop asking why is this story so hollow and start asking what is Disney actually optimizing for, and it clicks. They're not optimizing for a great Star Wars film. They're optimizing for something else, something safe, cute, parent-friendly, merch-friendly, and frictionless enough to earn an A- CinemaScore. And the A- isn't a defense. It's the tell. It doesn't mean Lucasfilm made a great movie. It means they made one safe enough for parents walk out of the theater going, the kid like Baby Yoda. So there you have it. Cinema defeated by a plush aisle. Because here's the trap they built for themselves. Grogu can't become a real character. The second he does, he stops being the perfect plush. Growth complicates the product. Consequences complicate the product. Danger complicates the product. So if the movie sands off every edge until that's all that's left is a mascot doing mascot things, Grogu presses buttons, Grogu makes baby noises, Grogu uses the Force when the plot wants him to and forgets he has it the moment the plot needs tension. That's not character development, that's inventory management with blasters. Take the carriage chase, for example. Grogu hops in a little carriage to chase Rada the Hutt. And I'm sitting there thinking, this isn't a movie scene, it's a toy feature. You can hear the meeting. Can Grogu have a vehicle? Can it go fast? Can it be cute? Can we sell it separately? Can Dad step on it barefoot at 2 a.m. and question every decision that led him here? That scene doesn't exist because the story demanded it. It exists because the product line did. Then the shelter scene. Mando gets poisoned. He's injured. Grogu has to take care of him. And on paper, that's the moment the child becomes the protector. And that really should land. But the movie can't let emotion breathe for 11 seconds before it swerves into plush toy slapstick. Grogu builds the shelter. It's a little short. So he force shoves Mando inside, repeatedly smacking his head into the wall. The single most sacred thing in this universe, used for baby Bonk's dad. And that's the whole movie in a nutshell. Every time it gets near emotion, it swerves into cute product behavior. It keeps confusing cuteness with storytelling. And I gotta say, they're not the same thing. And before anyone says I'm just repeating other reviewers, no. These were my notes walking out of the theater. I was talking about this with my wife in the car on the way home. Before I watched a single other review. That's how obvious this stuff is. Because this doesn't feel like a movie. This feels like 4 Disney Plus episodes stitched together and dragged into theaters against their will. You can feel the episode breaks. You can feel where the credits are supposed to roll. A movie, it builds. It escalates. This one, it has errands. Go here, get the hut, talk to the guy, fight in the pit, get kidnapped, rescue Mando, crash the ship, buy the toy, roll credits. That's not a plot. That's a theme park itinerary. And speaking of plots, there's the hut plot, where the movie's brain fully leaves the building. The Hutts tell Mando, bring us our nephew so we can kill him. Fine. Except the movie also tells us Rada is already a gladiator for an Imperial pit boss the Hutts know, and that pit boss is already going to kill him tomorrow. So the Hutts send Mando across the galaxy to retrieve a nephew who is already scheduled to die so they can kill him. Except not even quickly. They're putting him to sleep so he could live a long life and die naturally. That's not a plot. That's a committee meeting wearing a Hutt costume. If they want him dead, he's dead tomorrow. Mission accomplished. Take the afternoon off. Go be a Hutt. Visit Pizza Hut. But no, we can't do that because otherwise the movie's 40 minutes short and Grogu hasn't been placed in enough vehicles yet. And the pit boss is, I don't know, somehow worse. The man tells Mando to his face, yes, the fights are rigged. Yes, I kill the fighters when their contracts are up. Yes, I'm fixing tomorrow's fight so Rada dies. And then, in the very next breath, anyway, you should fight in my pit so we can both make a lot of money. You just told the bounty hunter standing right in front of you that your business model is murdering your contracted fighters. That's not villain arrogance, that's exposition with a head injury. This man has the criminal instincts of someone who clicks reply all on his own confession. He twirls the mustache, explains the scam, hands Mando the receipt, and invites him to join the loyalty program. But that's the tell, isn't it? You don't write a villain whose plan survives his own next sentence when your audience is 6. The incoherence isn't laziness, it's targeting. Then you have the Mando and Rada arena fight. I'm sorry, but I gotta say, somebody watched Thor Ragnarok, Thor versus Hulk in the Gladiator Pit, and said, what if we did that, but slower, uglier, and with a muscular slug? You got the arena, the crowd, the reluctant team-up, the big creature spectacle, but the difference here is Ragnarok had character, timing, color, comedy, and a reason to exist. This felt like a side quest that wandered into the main plot wearing a fake mustache. And here's what actually matters in all this. Disney, they own both playbooks. Star Wars action is now interchangeable with Marvel action because both are engineered for the same outcome. Tension, story, units. You can mold in plastic. This isn't Star Wars feeling mythic, it's Star Wars feeling like downloadable content. And every problem in the movie resolves the same way. Mando gets poisoned and Grogu just happens to find the exact guy in the exact place with the exact antidote, the exact second the script needs Mando alive. That's not writing, that's the plot dropping a health pack because the player got poisoned. Every problem exists just long enough to create a Grogu moment. Every solution shows up exactly when the movie needs to move on. Nothing breathes, nothing builds, nothing earns itself. Even the cast feels it. The whole New Republic half of this film is pure exposition delivery, because the human drama was never the part they were trying to sell. And then because, of course, Dave Filoni cameos, the thing already plays like Filoni dumping his toy box onto the floor, Rebels characters, creature callbacks, Hutts, New Republic pilots, Grogu running a retail demo every 12 minutes. At that point, it stops feeling like a movie. It starts feeling like a showroom. And this is the real damage. The Mandalorian Grogu is supposed to prove Star Wars still belongs in theaters. Instead, it proves Disney figured out how to put Disney Plus on a bigger screen and charge extra. It has the structure of television, the logic of a video game side quest, and the soul of a merchandise planogram. And yeah, some people liked it. When the movie was over, a lot of the audience at our theater clapped. And good. I'm glad you guys had a good time, but I had a good time, and this was a good movie are not the same sentence. The A- doesn't erase the hollow story. Kids liking Grogu doesn't mean adults have to pretend a 2-hour and 20-minute plush ad is a cinematic event. That's the trick Disney keeps pulling. They hide behind the kid appeal, behind the family audience, behind the idea that if something's harmless, it must be good. But harmless isn't enough. Not for Star Wars fans, not after 7 years, not for a theatrical comeback. The first Star Wars movie back in theaters should not feel like something you could half watch on Disney Plus while folding laundry. So for me, The Mandalorian Grogu, it's complete trash. Not loud trash, not fascinating trash, not even fun train wreck trash. Worse, it's safe trash. Corporate trash, frictionless trash. Engineered to make sure nobody gets too upset before they walk past the toy aisle. And that's the most depressing part. The first 5 minutes prove they still know what The Mandalorian could be. Everything after proves they no longer know what Star Wars should be. Disney didn't make a movie for Star Wars fans. They made a movie for parents who need 2 hours, kids who want a Grogu, and shelves waiting for fresh inventory. And if this is the future theatrical Star Wars, then the Force isn't dead. It's just been turned into a skew. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you actually like it? Did it work for you as a family movie? Or did you also pay full price to watch 4 Disney Plus episodes get smuggled into a theater under a trench coat? Do me a favor, like the video if you got something out of it. Subscribe for more Receipts First Entertainment. And as always, keep your expectations low and your receipts high. I'm the Critical Nerd, and I'm out.